I shouldn't have picked up the phone that night. But I did. And within seconds, everything I thought I knew about my marriage unraveled. His voice was calm, eerily calm, but there was something in the way he said my name that made my stomach twist. "I know," he said. Just that. 2 words. No anger, no shouting. Just, final. I felt the wine crash in my veins as I clutched the phone tighter. I wanted to ask what he meant, but I already knew. He'd heard me. He heard everything. The drunken confession I made to my sister, the one where I said I wasn't sure I was attracted to him anymore. Yeah. He heard every word. And now I was standing barefoot in the kitchen, the silence louder than his voice, wondering if I'd just destroyed the only stable thing in my life. You know that moment right before the earthquake hits? The stillness that feels fake? That's where I was. And the ground was just starting to crack. Before I tell you what happened next, make sure you're watching this alone. This story isn't just about what I said, it's about everything I lost after that. I met Nathan during one of those weird in-between phases of life. You know the kind, when your career is stuck, your friends are coupling off, and your mom keeps asking if she can set you up with someone from church. I wasn't looking for love. Honestly, I wasn't even looking for dinner. But there he was, in line behind me at the bookstore cafe, cracking a dumb joke about the barista's playlist. I rolled my eyes and laughed anyway. That was Nathan. Effortless. Warm. Safe. He made it easy to fall for him. We got married 2 years later. Small wedding. Lots of eucalyptus. Everyone said we looked perfect. But no one tells you what happens after the thank you cards. After the honeymoon glow wears off. After the routines settle and like wallpaper you stop noticing. 3 years into our marriage, I felt it. The dullness. Not hate, not anger, just nothing. Like I was sleepwalking through a life that looked good on paper. I told myself it was normal. That everyone gets bored. That love was a choice, not a feeling. That it would come back. But then came him. His name was Marcus. A client. Arrogant, ambitious, annoyingly perceptive. He wasn't my type, too sharp, too loud, but he saw me. Like really saw me. Asked questions Nathan hadn't asked in months. Noticed when I wore a new lipstick. Remembered things I'd said in passing. And I leaned in. Not physically, not at first. Just enough to feel something again. I knew I was dancing too close to a line I shouldn't even be near. But it felt good. Dangerous, yes. But also intoxicating. One night, after too much wine and an even worse work dinner, I called my best friend, Eliza. I was spiraling. Emotional. Stupid. I don't think I'm attracted to Nathan anymore, I whispered. He feels like a roommate. I cried after I said it. Because I knew it wasn't just the wine talking. But what I didn't know, what I couldn't have known, was that Nathan wasn't asleep upstairs like I thought. He was in the hallway. Listening. I found out the next morning. The way he looked at me over his coffee, quiet, unreadable, I knew something was off. Then he said it. I know. 2 words. No context. No accusations. Just certainty. I froze. Know what? He didn't answer. Just stood up, rinsed his mug, and left for work. And that's when the real story began. Because what happens when the person you hurt doesn't yell? Doesn't beg? Doesn't fight? They plan. I spent the rest of the day in a fog. I didn't text him. Didn't dare call. I replayed that phone call to Eliza in my mind, wondering how much he'd heard. Hoping maybe he missed the worst of it. But deep down, I knew. I tried to get ahead of it. Made his favorite dinner. Lit candles. Wore that stupid blue dress he once said made me look like something out of a dream. He didn't comment. Didn't eat much. Didn't even look at me. Instead, he asked, "Do you want kids?" The question slapped me sideways. "What? Do you want kids?" he repeated, calm as ever. I don't know. We've talked about this. I want a real answer. Right now. I don't know, Nathan, I said, my voice cracking. Can we not do this tonight? But that was the moment I saw it. The look in his eyes. Not anger. Not hurt. Distance. Like he was already leaving in his mind. I wanted to reach for him, to explain, to take it all back, but I didn't know which part to start with. So I said nothing. And silence has a way of becoming permanent if you let it. That night, we lay side by side in bed, backs to each other. Strangers in a shared space. I kept thinking, maybe it's just a rough patch. Maybe he just needs time. But the next morning, his suitcase was by the door. He didn't say he was leaving me. He said he needed space. That he'd be staying at his brother's place for a while. That he just needed time to figure things out. It sounded civilized. Reasonable. Almost boring. But the way he avoided eye contact as he wheeled his suitcase out of our apartment, it said everything. I watched the door close behind him, and the silence that followed was almost violent. I stood in our living room, our carefully curated little world, and I realized just how much of it had always been his. The bookshelves, the framed travel prints, the espresso machine. The life. And now, the life was gone. I tried to pretend it was temporary. That he'd cool off. That we'd talk it out. I texted him that night. Just a simple, "I'm sorry. Can we talk?" He read it. Didn't reply. 2 days passed. Then 5. I couldn't take it anymore, so I called Eliza again. I messed up, I told her. I ruined everything. She didn't sugarcoat it. You were stupid, she said. But maybe this is the wake-up call you needed. She meant well. But the thing is, I didn't need a wake-up call. I needed my husband back. So I did something reckless. I drove to his brother's place without warning. Nathan answered the door, shirt wrinkled, eyes tired. He didn't look surprised to see me. I just want to talk, I said. He stepped aside. We sat on opposite sides of the couch. Like it was a negotiation. I didn't mean to hurt you, I started. But you did, he said. No venom. Just fact. I was drunk. I was venting. So it's not true? I hesitated. The silence that followed? It was loud. I don't know what's true anymore, I finally admitted. I feel lost, Nathan. He looked at me, really looked at me, for the first time in weeks. I think you need to figure yourself out, he said quietly. Because I can't be the guy you settle for while you try to feel something. That one hurt more than I expected. Because he was right. And that night, I drove home alone. Again. The following weeks were brutal. I cried in the shower. Slept in his old t-shirts. Went to work with a smile stapled to my face. I didn't hear from him. Not once. But then, I saw something. It was a photo. My friend Rachel sent it to me, not knowing. It was a group pic from a mutual friend's birthday dinner. Nathan was in it. Sitting next to a woman I didn't recognize. She was laughing. He was leaning in. Familiar. My stomach twisted. Not because I thought he'd move on, but because deep down, I knew I'd pushed him into someone else's arms. I told myself I had no right to be angry. But I was. Angry. Scared. Envious. So what did I do? I called Marcus. The man I had never crossed the line with. Until that night. We met for drinks. Talked about work. Laughed too loudly. Then one thing led to another, and I let it happen. I let him kiss me. I let him unzip my dress. I let him make me forget, for a few hours, the wreckage of my real life. It wasn't love. It wasn't even lust. It was grief in disguise. The next morning, I felt sick. Not physically. Soul sick. Like I'd broken something I couldn't name. I didn't tell anyone. Not even Eliza. But guilt? Guilt has a way of living in your skin. And 2 weeks later, Nathan texted me. Can we talk? My heart stopped. We met at our apartment. Neutral ground. He looked nervous. I looked like hell. I've been thinking, he started. A lot. I nodded. Couldn't speak. I don't want to throw away what we had, he said. But I can't go back to how things were. Something has to change. I felt tears prick my eyes. I want to change. I'll do whatever it takes. And for a moment, I believed we could fix it. Until he said, but I need you to be honest with me. About everything. Everything. I should have told him right then. About Marcus. About the night. About how sorry I was. But I didn't. I nodded instead. And that lie? It would come back to destroy everything, for real this time. We started over. Or at least, we tried. Nathan moved back in with conditions. Weekly therapy. Scheduled date nights. Transparency. It felt structured, forced, but also safe, like guardrails on a cliff I kept slipping toward. I told myself the worst was behind us. But I was wrong. Because secrets rot everything from the inside out. And mine? It was growing teeth. Every time Nathan looked at me with soft eyes, it stabbed. Every laugh we shared, every small gesture of trust rebuilt, it all felt stolen. Because I hadn't told him about Marcus. And the guilt? It didn't fade. It calcified. We made it 3 months. 3 months of morning coffees and awkward silences and pretending we were okay. Then one night, we were folding laundry, of all things. He was holding one of my sweaters, and out of nowhere, he asked, did anything happen with Marcus? My throat closed. He wasn't accusing. He was asking. With hope in his voice, like maybe I'd say no and we could move on. I should have lied. But something in me couldn't do it anymore. I nodded. Nathan didn't speak. He didn't flinch. He just stared at me like he was watching a building collapse in slow motion. How far? He asked, quietly. All the way, I whispered. Just once. I was hurting. I wasn't thinking. It didn't mean anything. But it did. It meant everything. He sat down on the edge of the bed. Like his body couldn't hold the weight. I reached for him. He pulled away. I asked you for honesty, he said. You looked me in the eye and lied. I was scared. No, he cut in, his voice calm but firm. You were selfish. The word burned. Because it was true. He didn't yell. He didn't curse. He didn't call me names. He just got up and walked into the bathroom, closed the door, and for the first time in our entire relationship, he locked it. That was the night I knew we were over. He moved out for good the next day. This time, no suitcase. Just a few essentials, tossed into a duffel bag. The rest he said I could keep or burn. He didn't ask for the apartment, or the dog, or even closure. He just left. I tried to chase him with texts, calls, late-night voice notes. I tried to explain, to beg, to fix. But he never responded. And one day, I opened my phone to a simple message. Please stop. So I did. And then came the silence. Months passed. Therapy helped, a little. Friends helped more. But the hardest part was explaining why we split. People always want a villain. I wish I could give them one. But the truth? It was death by 1,000 little choices. Neglect. Resentment. Temptation. Pride. I didn't cheat because I didn't love him. I cheated because I forgot how to love myself. And when you forget that, when you let your pain fester instead of speak it, you don't just lose the people you love. You lose you. Nathan moved cities. Got a new job. Started dating someone new, someone kind, I hear. And me? I'm still here. Still in the apartment. Still folding laundry alone. Sometimes I think about the version of us that could have made it. But most days, I don't. Because the woman who destroyed her own marriage? She was me. But not anymore. I don't know if I'll ever deserve forgiveness. But I do know this. The truth always comes out. And when it does, you'll either face it, or lose everything trying to outrun it.